Reviewing a portfolio. Andreas Stavaas. I'm probably saying that last name wrong. I'm excited to see some art too. After that, we'll be looking at grass, and then we'll finish off with critiques from you guys in the Discord. Nah, man, it's good. It's good. Look at this. Look at this coffee cup. Oh, man. Sponsored? Nah, that'd be cool, though. I'd be down. Oh, man. All right. You stole it. No. I walked in. I'm like, hey, do you guys sell these? I was like, no. I was like, can you sell this one to me? How about two? They're like, okay. They went back, found out how much it would cost to sell it, and then sold it to me. Probably illegal. Let's throw it down. Boom. All right, environment artist portfolio review. I'm gonna try my best to stay nice at this. I'm still getting used to this whole PowerPoint formatting and all that jazz to try and make it look as good as possible on stream. What's up, Jester? Joakim's like, oh, go harsh, man. So I can be harshly positive, harshly constructive. How about that? All right, so the portfolio currently consists of two full environments and a section on props, which is pretty cool. So right off of the get-go, the portfolio has a strong front page, clear naming, and by clear naming I mean these sections here actually saying like just straight up what it is. It's pretty cool. I said before, I'll say it again, 2 entire environments is very, very, very nice. And then the diversity between the 2 environments shows artistic diversity, which is super important when it comes to that type of stuff. When you're trying to be an environment artist, it's good to show, at least early on, it's good to show that you have like a wide range of looks for what you can build. Yeah, dude, that new scene, pretty hot, Mr. Josh, pretty hot. So this is gonna get a little weird. I don't know if this is gonna work. Look at error. Sorry, blah. All right, we're going another route. Oh, dude, it hates me. Oh, dude, what is happening? Okay, hang on. Oh, there's another scene too. Okay, 2 seconds. It's like shit. I'm out. This is shit. How you doing, man? All right. So we're gonna go and look at his actual page because he's paying for Pro, so it looks pretty slick. So, F11 this jazz. So Libertaria, I'm gonna click on it. This is what the PowerPoint will show is the section. If this loads, there we go. Dev, what's up, man? Raz, I don't know what you're referring to. Oh, yeah, I need to get a Word doc up so I can grab questions if need be. So can you expand a little bit on your question, Raz? Then I'll copy it over and then we'll answer it at the end here. Yeah, it looks nice to have a Pro account for sure. I just switched over to one. Okay, so the Uncharted 4 fan art. is pretty hot. Pretty hot. I'm sorry, I'm gonna mute this and we'll just we'll full screen this bad boy. And you can take it in all its glory. Hopefully it's smooth on the stream. So this type of presentation is super nice for showing off your work. It shows scale. It shows how you think about framing, how you think about layering in your composition when stuff pans. It's really nice. Yeah, this looks really good. So after we go through all the shots of this, then I'll start to pick at some things that stick out to me. Yeah, it looks pretty close for sure. Yeah, this is really good. But yeah, pretty Sexmatron. Some other shots you'll notice too in the video that the video is not as sharp as the screenshots. The other thing too is in the video, because the video is panning or has moving shots, you tend to see a lot of the details that are on the ground. They stick out more because you can actually see them parallaxing a bit. Light angle and composition seems to be pretty strong in most regards. Oh yeah, as per nature of all things, I'll post the link to this, and then you should be able to find the rest of his stuff through there. If you guys are interested, I'll also share the PowerPoint on the YouTube details. But this shot's pretty interesting just because there's so much detail happening, and yet it doesn't feel noisy. A lot of his materials are very smooth, which is helping a lot with making sure that the noise is going where either the alpha is or where the actual geometry placement is happening. Yeah, for the most part, it looks like the wood, from a distance, that detail normal is mipping out, which is good because then you don't get that really harsh, detailed noisiness from a distance. And then when you get up close, it kind of it mips in and you get the hotness. But yeah, this looks pretty cool. Oh yeah, these are nice too, so you can get an understanding of Jester, I'm gonna copy that your question, and we'll answer it at the end. Cool. There was another one too. Let me see. Raz was asking a question. I don't know. Oh, I see. That was just my presentation app. For some reason, the thing is crashing. But these lighting renders are really nice, and you're just what you're rendering here is detail lighting only. And then having prop breakdown of your foliage, super nice. Like, this is really good. This is nice as well. This little added detail is really good with the kind of, I mean, you made like a tileable wall texture, and then you placed stones to dictate where the tile doesn't happen anymore. You get a little bit of clipping here and there, but everything's matching up really nicely, which is pretty cool. You're killing, man. So let's oh god, sorry, I'm scrolling like crazy. Let's start doing some breakdown stuff of this. I'm gonna go kind of fast on this just so that we have time to do some other stuff on the stream. But it's just gonna be me talking faster than normal. My pen got soaked in the coffee too. Let's see if it works. It might help if my Wacom's plugged in. I'm like, please work. Yes. Yes. Victory. All right. Oh no. What's happening? Oh my god. My Wacom pen might be dead. Hang on here. Nope. It was okay, cool. Okay, so this shot's cool. I'm just gonna move on to the next one because this, well, okay. So there's some stuff I want to point out on this one that is kind of poking me a bit. So there's some weird like soft stuff going on here. I'm guessing that is like a your DOF. This right here, like you're playing with DOF. Here it's working pretty well. I'm not sure why. And it's starting to happen up here, but where I pointed out in the yellow, it gets really strange. It's mainly noticeable on the tower. So like this area here. Hey, what's up, Reed? But in general, the shot is really nice. Compositionally, it's the pretty hot sauce. If I had to, I maybe would shift it to the side a bit more. Maybe like, actually, let me do this. Where you at, Photopoo? Stavaas, if you want, you could do a fully doffed out version. You could do a render where you have the depth, so it goes from white to black, and black being the furthest away, and then you get you do the blur either in Photoshop or what do you call it, or in Unreal, and then grab that shot. So you have this shot without any DOF. You've got your depth bias or your depth pass render, and then you have your fully DOFed out render. So then what you do is you go into Photoshop, you get your fully DOFed out version on top here, and then you have your regular image on the bottom. And then with the fully DOFed out one, you use a mask, and in the mask you use the depth bias. Then you use levels to control where the DOF is happening. You can move it around in Photoshop. That'll give you a whole lot more control, and then you'll be able to paint out where you don't want it happening. And this is just for, for portfolio presentation reasons. And sure, I guess that's cheating, right? But what's up, Primal? But I mean, we're trying to make a sick portfolio. You're not trying to ship a game, or you're not trying to sell a game at E3 and then they're gonna find out, oh my God, what has he done? No, you're trying to, stretch and flex your artistic muscles. So maybe try that out and see how it goes. I haven't tried that myself. I just know that I've seen it and it works really nicely. So framing, I guess it's gonna kind of suck because I'm I have no information on the side, but if you're to go to the side like that, there's not much happening over here in this area. No, give me the... So by doing this, you suggest that there's more off screen that you can't see, like that window, and it ends with this cart thing, and now you get to see more of this side. That compositionally looks stronger. The main reason I say that is because not only are you clearing up this side area here that was kind of didn't have anything happening in it, but you also get you get some bonuses as far as the composition goes. So like, let me do this. We'll get a green or something. No, we'll just... Oh, I want that color. It's like, let me have that color. Screw it, we're making our own. Boom. So this line here, and this line, and this one. Like, looking at these lines, these are like, I don't know what the technical term for it is, but I would call them attractors. They're eye attractors. So those are the things that are going to draw your eye, right? When it was framed up the other way, the attractors were more or less centered up, whereas when they're over here, now you're getting a lot more offsetting of the attractors to try and frame it in the center here, but now the door is not in this, because like before the door was almost center shot. Yeah, let's see what else is going on here. No, come on. Sorry, I had it so zoomed out. What's up, Quilly Willy? The other thing I would say is these leaves. So I'll zoom in on this. Oh, geez, I'm using like two tools. These leaves are all following like a same. I think you were just trying to keep it lower poly. I'm just gonna do this again. Actually, yeah, I think you were just trying to keep it lower poly, but like in this area, let's do this. So you're getting a lot of this, which I think is attributed to the low polyness of the leaves. If you're already paying for all those, totally give it some, like, give the leaves a slight curve. Give the so the leaf from a side view right now is doing this, and maybe you want it to do this, and then from front view, if this is the center, then you would want it to do this. So it's bowing this way, and then it's also curving down. That'll work wonders for your foliage, and maybe not all of them are doing that. Maybe they're all kind of like if you're instancing maybe 2 or 3 different ones where they have different curves to them. That'll go pretty far, I think. For what's a few 100,000 more? I mean, I don't know. In some games today, you're seeing a shot that's like literally has 7 million polys in it or more. Like it's not as scary as it used to be. So it's definitely worth the cost. Man, remember how much the Xbox does overdraw? Oh, of course, Picklock, but he's not shipping on Xbox. He's trying to get a job, right? What's up, Jet? Like, that's the goal. you make it look awesome, and then tech artists will make sure that you make it run on console when you're actually in studio. And then you get a much better understanding, because engine to engine is going to be different as well. Not that overdraw is easier on certain engines or anything like that. I think overall, though, the composition of this one is quite strong. Like, I really like that this is like front and center, and everything else is going back into the atmosphere. Let's see what else we can pick out of here. So this one also has a really good like framing. This guy right here is pretty centered up. Be careful about centering certain objects. I mean, that might be okay just because of how much it's not popping out, I guess, in value. No, definitely not, Josh. That's a natural development change that tends to occur. So with this type of stuff, you've got a really nice little hit of color, and I kind of wish that there was like a few more that trailed off. And then where this guy is, there's usually others. So like maybe if there was a few others. And then maybe, it looks like there's one over there. If you had them like kind of near areas that are like corner points, that could be pretty interesting for leading the eye. Because then you're like, oh, you see this one, and then you move forward, and you see that one, and then this one. You know, and it draws you up the pathway. The stuff in the distance, this stuff is pretty successful, and I think the only thing that you could do to make it more successful is to make it feel a little bit further back. Picklock, that's not always true either. If I had to say anything about this shot, I think that this wall here is pretty clean. Like maybe it could use some moss that comes down onto the surface itself. And then this brick, although you can't see it, so I would leave it alone. If this tree wasn't here, I would definitely dirty this brick up some. Maybe even if it's just like a alpha card that's like floating, some decal action. And it feels like right here, it feels pretty good. There's some shadowing and ambient occlusion that seems to be happening behind the plants. You get a little bit of shadowing here as well, but it really flattens out pretty quickly, and I'm not sure what is causing that. But that's the nature of, like, I wouldn't worry about that too much, mainly because when you're running around in real time, or when you did your video, you see all the detail in the ground because it's parallaxing, it's shifting around, right? This little detail here, and I think it's happening in some other areas as well. You've got this dark edge that's happening along the edges of your geometry, or the mask. I'm like the thing with the stuff. That, try to make sure that does not happen. I don't know if that's the padding behind the shapes, or if that's the ambient occlusion that's being generated from like your alpha or your height map in like Substance Designer or something. Because I noticed that's happening with my vines. I need to fix it as well. You have quite a bit of complexity here with props and stuff, but then you're lacking it here. Like you see this hard edge here, and that hard edge actually shows that this shape here and all these shapes are actually just flat textures. Totally, like, because you're paying for this and paying for all that and all this, just prop the hell out of the stuff that's nice and close just to hide these edges. Like over here, it's pretty successful. It's AO and Designer. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, the AO and Designer doesn't seem to be too friendly with edges of alpha shapes and that stuff, that such things as AO on edges. These guys are, man, we're getting real nitpicky because this stuff is really good. These guys down here, man, you can't see any of this. There we go. Okay, these guys, the stems are really straight. Be careful with that. Maybe just pay for the curve of them. Emphasizing these guys a bit more. I would love to see, again, just a few others. Maybe one here. And there doesn't seem to be a lot happening under these guys. I guess maybe it's because they're in shadow. There's a lot of shadowing happening there, so there's not much to see. Get nitpicky, dude. In general, though, I really like that. I'm seeing that thing again, the DOF. In general, all the shapes that you have going on are really nice. As I poorly outline them, this detail here is really cool. I love how this is leaning inward, because now you're getting oh, let me do this again. So you're getting this shape. You know, whenever I talk to you guys about like, oh man, that looks really cool, but your scene still looks really low poly or like boxy. Like, this is how you get away from it. Like, this stuff's all really boxy, right? But like at the same time, oh, what is that? Is that a follow? I don't know. I'll check it after I finish this stuff up. But that's having these shapes be that detailed just solves the problem. Like you're seeing it a little bit here that it's low, but I think that edge has been beveled and the normals are kind of going around it nicely. So you're like getting away with it a little bit. Adding the stones into the ground is giving you the ability to show the angle of the ground so that it's not just flat. Let's keep going down here. So this shot is pretty cool. The shape here, where the highlight is happening, is very low poly. So it's hard to tell, or it breaks the illusion of all of the detail that you've been building. Like, you end up getting a hard edge there. If you just modeled a little bit of those edges up and down to try and give like the roof tiling or like bowing in the roof so that it's not just flat, those highlights, that highlight there will look really good. You're getting a little bit of it here, but that's pretty, I mean, it's so off shot that you don't really need it. There's also this, I don't know what that is. I think that's another roof in the distance. Because it's so far away, I would try and rotate that or remove it just so that like it doesn't draw attention like the rest of the roofing. This one looks pretty good just because you see all the little breakup stuff that's happening. Like, even if there's just like pieces of wood, like kind of like that you had leaning up on stuff laying across there, that'd be pretty cool. Let's see here. This area looks much better. It does look like there's a bit of curving happening or curling to the leaves. So this is where it starts to get hard to like, I'm noticing things that stick out to me. So you've got all this detail out here, right? And then you've got this hard edge here and this hard edge like that. Like this doesn't feel grounded, so there's like, I don't know, it feels like this cart would be carrying stuff, right? There's two boxes in there. Maybe you need cups and like bottles and cans or something, or stuff around here. Things breaking up this edge so that you don't get that hard edge would be really nice. Little props here, a piece of wood here, maybe some stuff's fallen out of here and it's spilled across the ground. Grass it should have by now taken over most of the pillar base, and then grass starting to come out through here, maybe just around the edges, just because of lightings and grass being able to survive. But yeah, just stuff that you can put on the ground. You just need, like, this is really cool that you have this stuff like so close to the camera. You just need a few things here, maybe some pieces of wood or something. A dead guy, make a freaking skeleton, dude. Put him here. It would be so sick. He can be like, oh, Andreas, help me, with his bam, speared, or sabered rather. Anywho, yes, the addition of these are pretty cool as well. With the sword in them, yes. There's so much implied detail out here as well as actual detail that it's just, you're just missing it here. It just needs it. It needs the deets. I feel like the ceiling here is missing some details as well. Maybe some dripping here. Maybe a rope that's come through. Maybe another one. Maybe some more aging along the wall here. Some breakup of the edge, just so that it's not so hard edged. And I'm looking. I'm gonna ignore it because it's this only. Of course he draws dicks again. Save me. Stay a while and listen. This is sticking out to me. It's where the texture breaks and ends. Like, all you need to do is take this brick and put it here, and then that'll fix it, and then you can continue your bricks down this way, and these ones up this way. But that's pretty nitpicky. People aren't really gonna see that. Crippling depression. Kane. Oh my God, it's Kane. Yeah. I think that the color of the moss on the walls is kind of strange, that it's not close to the color of the saturation on the ground. Well, let's move on. So this shot is really cool, and it's running into that problem, this stuff here. It's running into that problem where everything's so straight. I mean, they are mushrooms, right? So maybe because mushrooms, the way that mushrooms form and how they kind of layer on themselves, you've got the let's see, you've got the big guys here, but then you've got the smaller ones around it, right? But remember that it's on a barrel and it's curving. So like, and then most of the light comes from this side. So in this curve, like this, right? You would have a lot of bigger ones where you're almost seeing the side of them. And then as they come around, you'll start seeing the tops of them. And then on this side, you'll see, they'll be smaller, of course, on this side, just because they're not getting as much light as the rest. I mean, they're mushrooms. They're not supposed to get direct light. But like, they're going to be curving to the shape of the barrel. And I'm guessing this is like a single asset. So what you could do is take the single asset. If we were looking at it from top down, and this is the top of the barrel, you could take that single asset and place it on the side here, facing this way, which is out here. So it's angled like that. and then duplicate it and place it around itself, but make these ones like 75% of the original size of this one, and you'll start to get that natural curve as well as the scale changing between them. And then if that is then too dense for the number that you have of mushroom wise, then you can just go into this asset and actually start removing mushrooms until you get to a proper density for the entirety of the composition. Here's the detail I was talking about earlier where this is quite smooth, but then when you get close up to it, you get this like this normal. I don't know if you're painting those in or if you're controlling when they come in. I'm guessing it's a MIP. It looks really good though. This wall back here, so it's got a single support on the top here, and maybe it needs like another support here, and then like a bigger one here. It needs larger supports in order to break up this pattern that you have happening, because right now you have this, right? You have this happening, and you have like this beam, which could be bigger. So if you get this beam in here, oh man, we're going big. So if you did that, you've got this beam up here, this beam. Breaking up how things connect together will make that wall more interesting, as well as giving you areas of rest for the eyes. And then it's not just one large shape, right? Here's the vines having that problem again, your little roots and stuff with the dark edge. This scene is almost there. I think you need more vertices on the ground for your vertex painting, for the blending of the moss and stuff coming in, because I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's like almost like a triangle, like do it. I'll clear it so you guys can see. It's like right there and right there. Trying to think how you would handle that. This board also sticking up is very strange, like functionality wise. If that's going to be sticking up, it might be worth just lowering this ground and then adding a step and then lowering all the props on this side, so that it looks more like there's a reason why that's there. Because if you want that cut to be there, I guess, to break up the ground, then you should cut the ground as well and start the tiling over again, maybe offset so that you don't get a line going like this. Because right now I can tell that it's just like resting and pushed into the ground. This one's pretty cool. It could use some like little rocks and stuff and stones. Like all these stones are missing, right? But there's none of them are in here. Like add some in here, a few that have fallen in. I mean, how did this happen? Did a cannonball come in from the ocean towards it? And if so, then all of those stones for the most part would be inside the space, right? Again, this is one that's, I like the area being empty around the core here, but around these things you could totally put like stuff on the table, small little plates and old cups and shit like that. This right here is like terminating into wood. You could just put a bunch of those around there so that you just don't see that. And then from this view, this is nice just to see the lighting, because then you start to understand like how everything is being placed together, how the materials are reading together, and all the layering. I actually really like. I hope to someday see a game where we're going crazy with colors and stuff like this. Because like taking the colors out and then bringing them in as you play. There was a World War II game that did that. But I digress. Yeah, compositionally, this one's so strong. You're just like, you're going this way, and then you're going up, and then you go here. Everything is pointing that way. Look at that. Everything's like, go there, and you're like, all right, I'm going there. And then you look at the door. Oh, It's good. It's good. So this is pretty cool, seeing the breakdowns of all the props and stuff. This is really interesting too, that you have a dead version of the of your little ground foliage. And this is nice, having the variety of those. What are those? Birds of paradise? No, what are those? I don't know what those are. These guys are pretty cool. I think that maybe these need to be broader. I could be wrong. You've probably looked at reference, so I'll just leave it at that. But it just, like, this one feels really good. These ones feel really thin. But that could just be me. Like, I would need to look at reference, and I'm assuming you did. This shot actually interested me quite a bit, mainly because I could see that you have moss on top of your props here for these two, but on nothing else. So, like, I'm curious, like, were you vertex painting in the moss? Because, like, you should maybe build it into the shader so that it's showing up on the tops of objects, and then you can just control how much of it is there. That way you can just be like, this is a moss version, just by clicking a checkbox, and like, this is how mossy it is. And then when you move it around, it'll still be pretty correct. But yeah, it seems like you were really strategic about when you used those. So I didn't really notice it in the scenes. For usability though, you would probably want to do that so that you have a moss controller. This stuff's pretty cool. I wish that there was some variety in these. Oh, all right. So that was awesome. Good deal. Yeah, because you should totally do that, because then you get double use out of all your props, right? So maybe chipping away some of these, or one of them, in a different version of this wall piece here. The tops of this are pretty rounded. I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be like that. It feels really round though. Mika, what's up, man? How you doing? Hey, boy. Anyway, it's super cool. Super cool. Let's see if we can go back to this. I doubt it. We'll see. What is this? What? Can I draw on the... Oh, God. What have I done? I can draw on the PowerPoint. Oh, Jesus. All right, so this is the other scene that is not loading because reasons. We're going to go back to here. This is the cathedral. So in general, this is super, super strong. So the ground has the attention to detail that is like the bee's knees, man. Like, these being modeled out as much as they are is doing so much for adding to your scene. You've got a pretty strong highlight on there. Might want to tone that down, but in general, like, the materials and the scale of everything is really nice. Compositionally, you've got a strong, like, here, we're going back into photo poop. Okay, cool. It's framed up the same. Very good. I'm going to use... What am I going to use? Green. Okay, so compositionally, you've got this going on. And this one. Whoop. So that's kind of like your, and I guess because this is being emphasized so much, that's kind of your framing that's happening in this shot. The addition of the creature in the middle, freaking awesome. Really, really well done. Sorry, I'll zoom in here. I always end up zooming in too close. Oh my god. Yeah. Compositionally, super strong. Some things that are bugging me, I guess, are like this this spear stick thing is totally going into this guy, so you're getting like a weird tangent here. I think it's ending right there, but there's no visual disconnect, so you assume that it's just they're connected in some way. The contrast between this asset and the background is really good. It really helps separate out the details or your assets from each other, letting you know how far away something is. The roughness or variation of detail in the roughness and specular on these props could use a little love, mainly because it looks like it's just experiencing one uniform roughness value. Oh, geez. There we go. In general, though, this scene's like pretty badass. I mean, is this a werewolf? I haven't played Bloodborne, so if it's a werewolf, I mean, there's some pretty serious light going on up there. I don't know what that is. If these windows were kind of shattered a little bit, and then you could see the moon, and then maybe it continues, like maybe it's doing this. And then you get more glass that's broken. You get a lot more interesting view of the windows, because right now the windows are very clean. It's just a beast. Awesome. But yeah, I mean, dude, this looks pretty ace. And I love how when you turn the camera around, there's like more. Like what? There's some stretching here that should be addressed. Gigantic hole in the ceiling. Oh, there's a hole in the ceiling I haven't seen yet. Okay. This lighting is really nice. So I guess there's like the hole in the ceiling is giving you this moonlight stuff. You've got this light pattern that's happening, which is casting across the door. Really, really nice. These guys are pretty cool. Feel like maybe they shouldn't be as bright as they are. Maybe they're getting casted on, so maybe it's okay. Maybe you just need to see the context of the scene, right? Again, this is really, really bright. The stretching, and there's something here which I don't know what that is. It might be a reference that I'm not getting. These little pieces here, don't hesitate to like put those in clusters of like, I don't know, 20 of them. Scatter them out and put them all over the place randomly. Use them to your heart's extent to break up lines like this line here. You could just place some around the edge there, because that'll just break up that edge and just hide it in general. It's a lamp. It's a very weirdly placed lamp. The only other thing I would say is these plants feel very, they're very... Oh, it's a checkpoint. Ah, see? Okay, yeah. Very good. I was going to say these plants seem very erect, so I would be careful with that. You might get the wrong reaction from people. But, like myself, I guess? I don't know. This is super ace, though. Like, these are really solid scenes. This angle's cool as well. It's weird. The brightness of this is different from here. Or it seems like it is. I think it's the same as this. I would, hang on, let me look around here. So there's an unexplained light here. I would keep that toned back, just so you're not seeing that. And then I would maybe turn the light out on that one, so it's like this one. That way, you get the sense of like, all right, this is the centerpiece area where everything should be happening. It's where all the fire lights are. And then as you're going away, then it goes back to natural lighting. Like when you turn around, you get this shot, and this should be all natural lighting except for like this guy here. Just to give you, and then this, because then it gives you the understanding of, you know where you're standing, you know where when you turn around, you know that that's where stuff's going to be. The scene you were just looking at. There's also these guys. I don't know what these are. Might be a bake error. I'm not sure. Anywho, super solid. The shot's also really cool, and it's just missing the debris on the ground. So like this is all chipped away. You just need all the little scattered bits and stuff going around here. And then don't localize the lifting of tiles to just these like 4 at a time. If that's going to happen, like you should have it gradient out and happen less over the tiles. But yeah, little bits and bobs around the ground. More stuff to break up the edge here. I think you really need another. So you've got these pots, right? I feel like you need, so there's a smaller one. You need one smaller one, or candles or something that you can just dot around the edges when you need to break stuff up. Just so that you don't have these hard edges. You can just put like a little vase here, more debris around the pillar, maybe a broken vase. I would love to see some broken versions of these. But yeah. Oh man, this is dope. What's up, Harry? How you doing? Yeah, every Friday we start with a critique. It's gone way over now, but you know, I guess we're going straight into the rest of the critiques. I'll take like a 5-minute break and then we'll go into that. Oh man, there's a lot of this is unlit. There's actually a lot of lighting information in your textures that you might want to be careful of. Like primarily in the details on the side here. It's like basically your AO is in your albedo is what it looks like. Oh, it's all good, dude. When the time comes, you will have stuff. Is it too late? This is really cool as well to just see the breakdown of stuff. Yeah, you really need like a set of those little rocks to just place around. This is really cool. Don't be afraid to add more geo when you need to solve a curve or show a curve. Okay, so I'm going to get to the props. So, and I'll link this to you guys so you guys can look at it, because I'm not going to click on each one of these to look through them. I was looking at them earlier, and the only thing that I could come up with is, where the hell is my Epic Pen? The only thing I could come up with is in these boxes, this lighter wood breakup that's happening inside, which should only happen on outside edges, if that makes sense. So like out here or on the corners and stuff. In the concave areas, it would be this darker stuff that you were showing. You'll end up you'll display a much stronger understanding and visual representation of what's inside and outside of the asset, and it'll just visually end up looking like it makes more sense. Oh, if it's dust, unless the dust is constantly disturbed, your dust is going to be more of like a layer or a coat on top, right? And then this asset just looks cool. Okay, I have to click on this one because I have to see what the roughness looks like. It's pretty cool. I'm surprised by how little information you put into the normal. Oh yeah, you're getting stepping in your normals as well. So just make sure your UVs are straightened out as much as possible in areas where you would get stepping. Or if the UV is straight, just make sure to try and, if the UV pieces are of a straight shape, make sure that they're aligned in the UV space as straight as possible. That'll help you get away from that stepping. Yeah, because see, from this distance, then you really start to see the artifacting of it, especially back here. Oh, Stavaas, that's awesome, dude. I would expect a lot more of the details in the metal to be in the normal. Like, because this stuff gets pretty rough. And as far as I can tell, I'm like, what's the... It's like, give me the... I want control. Give me control. Nope. I can't do it. Yeah, I'm just expecting some of the rusty bits to have, like, even if it's just the more red stuff, to have, like, a lifted, kind of noisy normal to them. Okay, so I'll go back to the failed PowerPoint, and we can keep going. Okay, so this is portfolio. These are some questions that I kind of came up with just to answer some questions that Stavaas might have. It's like, does this portfolio have what I need to get into games? From an environment artist and props artist perspective, almost certainly. So, I guess I'll go through all of these and then I'll expand on this. How can I improve my composition? Honestly, I think it's just making sure that things aren't centered up and then you're always leading the eye to where you're going, which you're already kind of doing. Thanks, Punky. Alt will rotate the light in Sketchfab. So, yeah, looking at your recent Uncharted scene shows the strongest understanding of composition you've shown so far. And your Bloodborne scene also had very, very strong composition. Like, you had foreground elements that were kind of past the camera, or background elements and foreground elements. And then you also had props that were very strategically positioned in the shot to be like the magic, the golden ratio of positions. And there was always leading somewhere that focused on something. So just pushing that will definitely, your composition's already quite strong. So just keep going on that. What's up, Junglist Demez? So how can I have a better presentation of my work? So material variation. My Friday's good. I took the day off. Hung out with the dog and Karma. So material variation. In your scenes, you tend to have a range that's like... So I think the best example of material variation is in your Bloodborne scene. And it's because you've got different highlights here. You've got a different roughness information here. You've got this. So you've got metal, stone. You've got fire. You've got some type of like a pottery material maybe. I don't know. I don't know what that material is actually, which is another problem in its own. Like how do you define a material and make it separate from the rest of the scene? So in your Uncharted scene, everything is very similar in roughness values, and I think adding some elements in there that hint at metals will help with your what I was saying about material variation. The next thing is specialization in your portfolio. So you've got two scenes of environments, and the only thing that I'm noticing with your portfolio currently is, like, sure, you have your prop section. You've got two environment scenes, but I don't know what which environment do you like the most? By adding a third environment, maybe you do something either that you're more interested in, and then add that to your portfolio. So have three environments, and pick something that's more along the lines of going down the route that you could see yourself making that type of content for a couple of years. So if you really like the Uncharted stuff, make some more Uncharted stuff. If you really like the Bloodborne stuff, make some more stuff that's like in the vein of Bloodborne. Because showing that specialization, not necessarily now, but later on, that's going to really help you sell yourself to a studio. Like, I had an interview where it's like, why do you want to work on this type of game? You made race car games, right? Like, what makes us believe that you actually want to work on this game? That's a question that will come up sometimes, especially when your portfolio starts to get super, super diverse. So you have to have good answers for it, and sometimes having the best answer is having it in your portfolio. What's up, Overson? How you doing? So in your prop section, you have real-time viewer stuff, and I think the real-time viewer stuff is cool. It needs to be it needs to get or take a backseat, I guess is the. So you can still have the real-time viewers, but I highly suggest that you have renders as well, so that there's at least the option to not have to view stuff in real time. Because some people are doing really, really fast portfolio reviews to just churn through stuff. You know what I mean? Oh man, dude, it is 8:17 already. All right, I think that's the jazz. Yeah. Let me make sure. Do. Let me make sure everything is good. So there's a question. There's a few questions. So the albedo in the scene, like this scene, you know, the one, this one, the Bloodborne one, the albedo only is a bit dark. I'm not sure if that's intentional, but if you were going for PBR based stuff, then this is quite a bit dark, quite a bit too dark, I guess you would say. No problem, Primal. I'm glad that you learned something from me rambling. I think that your albedo should be lighter. The AO shouldn't be in the albedo and should just be in the AO channel, because those will show up wherever there's a shadow. Anything in shadow will show your AO. And then the other question was, a AAA production is Decimation Master low key. In AAA production, is Decimation Master low poly okay for static props, or should you always work with clean retopo? It really depends. If the object is organic, especially if it's large, then Decimation Master, just do it. It'll be fine. You could also do a retopo, like an auto retopo in ZBrush, and then do like a shrink wrap back to the high poly, and that will help you maintain some of the details. You actually, Oversun, you can. That'll be the last question that I'll take. 1 second here. There's a link, and you're now in line. You would be portfolio 10, so I've got 8 more to do, and then you. So it could be a little while. If you're needing it for an interview that should be coming up soon, then I can maybe take you on an offline review. Let me see if I can. Where are we at here? Art related. It's this link. So if you go to the Discord, you can post art in the art related channel, and we review it there at the end of every stream for like the last hour or 45 minutes. You can fill out that Google form, and that will get you into Friday's early portfolio reviews, where we just do your whole portfolio. Yeah. So I'm going to jump to recent here, and then we're going to get down to business with your guys' stuff. And yeah, I'll give you a quick view of what I'm doing before we move on to your guys' stuff. There's not a lot of time for critiques tonight, though, sadly. All right, I'll be right back.